Hey everyone, so today we are back with another inZOI video, the upcoming life simulation game, and today we are jumping into build mode. If you want to find out more about the gameplay, I will leave that video linked down below. I also have more gameplay videos coming, but the build mode is definitely something I was very excited to get my hands on, so we decided to build a house from the ground up. So I'm going to talk you through the entire process and show you some of the crazy features. So we are starting today in Bliss Bay. So I actually built in an apartment in Dowan last playtest, so this is a new world. This is an American-inspired city on the water, and there are already so many fun lots to check out. There's houses or villas and there's apartments, but we are starting from this house, which I am completely bulldozing and starting from scratch. So, okay, a little overview of the build mode menu. You kind of have that exterior-interior divide. In the exterior category, there's also blueprints, which if you are not a builder, I think are great options for you. You just plop them in and then kind of fill in the blanks, so super easy. But we're gonna build something from the ground up. So starting with walls, you already have 4 wall heights as well as 4 half wall heights. And it is as easy as just dragging and pulling the cursor to kind of the length of the wall that you want. When you connect the walls, they fill in with floors and ceilings, creating a room. And then if you don't connect the walls, like I have done with this kind of garage, it doesn't fill in with a floor or a ceiling, so you can still have that option. Within a few seconds, you can build a really simple base and go from there. So for the balcony, I just decided to use half walls and just kind of drag it out across. Could use the grid at this point, it would probably be easier, but you can turn the grid off, which I personally prefer to build with. Moving on to the roofs, I actually found the roofing to be kind of difficult, not gonna lie. I don't enjoy roofing anyway, but I felt like there was limited roof pieces to connect and actually make something look decent. I was a little restricted about how far you could pull them out. There was these little arrows, which I found a little difficult to kind of grab onto because they're so small. But what I did like is that we already had some roof accessories, roof decorations. So we had antennas or satellites, we had solar panels. So I just added a couple of those just to make it feel a bit more lived in. And you definitely are inspired to do that because the world around it is so detailed. Okay, moving on inside, we just drag and drop some stairs. Those are really easy to place. I didn't show it, but you can actually kind of change the orientation of the stairs and the angles and all of that. Pillars were super easy with the cursor just dragging the height to everything. And as you can see, I am using the grid system now, so sometimes that's easier just so you can get a feeling for like where the pillars are all aligning and matching. So what's really cool is that you can build all the way to the edge of the lot. So I didn't want to go too close so that it clipped with the neighbor's fence, but for example, you can go all the way to the street front, which is really nice. However, I did actually notice that in some of the lots, you can't do that. I would say from what I noticed, it was about 50-50. Okay, so now we're checking out the windows. Already so many window options. This was actually so fun because the lighting in this game is absolutely beautiful. So obviously, depending on the orientation that you're building in and the time of day, it just creates the most amazing dramatic lighting inside. Yeah, keep that in mind when you build. However, you can't actually change the time of day when you build. Okay, moving inside, we're kind of figuring out the floor plan. Yeah, this was really easy just to use the arrows and move walls. You can delete walls, you can place walls, and then select them and then move the arrows to kind of resize the rooms as you want. I didn't really have a perspective of furniture at this point. I was kind of just eyeballing it and hoping that it would work, but in a second, I think I do go in with a bed just to make sure that the rooms are a good size. I think I realized at this point the room might be too big, so I kind of rejig it from there. Okay, now we're on to the customization part. So that is by far the standout of build mode. So you can create a really boring blank canvas, and then you go in with this customization to pick the to pick the material, the textiles, the type of wood that you want, the effect. Do you want it glossy, shiny? You can pick the color, an entire wall the same, or you can select individual panels to create something really unique. So there is incredible customization, and that is where the strengths of this game lie. You can either make everything super matchy-matchy, or you can kind of go a bit contrasting and mix and match. At the moment, I am checking out a door, and you can change the doorknob, the frame, and the door color. So you could have everything different, or you can have everything the same. But I do like that you can kind of customize the individual elements. So there I just went and changed the color of the fencing to match the color of the door. So now we're moving on to some decorations. I'm adding these wooden panels at the front door just to create some kind of entrance. I was a little confused about why the door was elevated. You might have noticed the door was a little bit higher on the wall. I wasn't sure why it did that. I think that might have been because it's a room on the other side of the door and I'm building from the outside. I don't know. So a little problem I encountered was I couldn't go totally off the grid. With some pieces like these wooden panels, I couldn't go off the grid to place them in exactly the position I wanted. It resulted in things not being aligned. So I had to go in and kind of disguise that with some plants and things like that and these benches that I'm about to place. So there are ways around it, and maybe that was me not figuring out how to build things off the grid, but the grid is not as big as other games, so you actually can move things by small distances, which is great. So it doesn't feel really limiting. So yeah, just customizing some benches. I really liked how that entrance looked. So yeah, now we're just picking up some random trees and landscaping and bushes, and there's lots to choose from already. We've got rocks, planters, lots of different trees, lots of different colors, different rocks of all different sizes and bushes and plant pots. And there's also some really fun decorations. So you can make things look a little lived in with random piles of wood and sand and different textures. There's also grass pieces. There's also some options to have trees that grow. So I think there was like a lemon tree or an olive tree that you buy as a little sapling, and then it does grow over time, which I didn't get a chance to check out in gameplay, but that was an option to put in build mode. We have cars in the game. So this was purely decoration. This is actually in the category called photography props, which are just items that look good and can fill a studio if you wanted to tell a story, which is a gameplay feature. Can buy cars in the game, and then I guess there's no need for a car prop at that point. Okay, we're doing a few bits of decoration by the door. There's a lot of light options for the wall, and we have some plants. Actually, so many plants in the game. Okay, moving on inside, we are doing the floors. So lots of different wood options that you could pick from, and then you can change the color. So there's basically unlimited options for floors. Same with tiles, lots of different tile options, and then you can go even further and give it a different color, different gloss effect. Okay, now we're moving on to the interior and the furniture. So lots to say here. Starting with, I think I'm gonna start with placement of objects and kind of angling. So there's a few different keys that you need. So it's kind of holding down Shift and then Z and C to angle things. But once it's already placed, you can then go and control gizmo, which gives you this wheel to then hold down Shift and then rotate it freely, much easier. Yeah, but in terms of actual objects, so impressed. So as I said, so many plant options. There's a good few picture options, which you can then go and customize yourself. You can upload your own picture inside, which I love. You can design something yourself in Photoshop, and then you can put your own picture in the frame. There's also a lot of mirror options. So because of the issue I had with the grid, I sometimes struggled getting the placement of pictures exactly where I want. The lighting is absolutely beautiful. So there's a lot of different lighting options, and then you can go in and change the lighting and the tone. Things like getting beds, bed frames, bed covers, cushions, pillows is incredible because you can change the color of every individual element on the bed. But you can change the bedboard, the bedside tables to all be matching, like the same wood tones, and then you can go in and change the cushions, the pillows, and have something fun and bright colored, or a picture of something that you upload. So you can really personalize it and customize it to your ZOI. Now we're just placing some bedside table lights, and yeah, there's an example of how you can change the metal or the frame of the light, and then you can also change the color of the light itself. Placing a couple more random objects. There's a little vanity table, a stool, and some fun floor mirrors. And I think here coming up in an example of how it takes a while to slowly rotate an object. Yeah, there you go. And then sometimes the object kind of jumps in its placement, so you have to, it's a bit fiddly. So now we're making a walk-in wardrobe in the bedroom, and what's really cool is that you can start with pieces that look absolutely nothing alike and are from different sets, so to speak. But then through the customization, you are able to actually make things match, because you can make everything the same wood tone, you can give everything the same texture. So that allows you to put objects that don't usually match and make them feel like a cohesive set. Okay, now we are making a little office just off the bedroom. So this is really cool because there are lots of desk options, and then there are desks that you can customize completely. So you can change the actual tabletop and then change the legs, which I will show you at the end of the video, so stay tuned. But making an office is really cool because there's fun props, there's unlimited options for desks, same for the chairs, unlimited options for the chairs, and then there's some really fun bookcases and things like that. So this is an example of where I struggled with the grid because I was not able to place the mirror completely center to the cabinet. It would default to a grid space, which was either side of the center. So that kind of bothered me. So that, again, that might be an issue that I was having, but I could not find a way to get off the grid, to build off the grid. But placing clutter is really fun. The clutter slots on the tables there's extensive. There's a lot of options. And there's a lot of really kind of random everyday clutter, like tissue boxes and books and candles and things like that. So you can make things feel really lived in. And again, lots of plant options, just filling up this wall. So now I've actually moved upstairs. This is now the second bedroom that is on the second floor. The floor plan is a little different. We have a clothing rail here. Again, another sideboard. I love this mirror, so I've used that a couple times, and this little stool. And there's some really fun carpet options. So there's a circular carpet that I really like. There's a few different kind of plain ones, rectangles, and then again, you can go in and customize the different patterns. Okay, so I'm finishing up the second bedroom. Now I'm adding in a curtain. You can change the actual curtain color, the frame, and the point. So again, you can kind of customize all the different parts. Bedroom's done. We're now moving on to the bathrooms. So I have 2 bathrooms in this house, a smaller one and a big one, but I just wanted to show you a couple of the basics in the bathroom. So we have a few sink options and a few shower options. Then you have some fun decor that you can put in, and you have clutter slots on the sinks. So you can place shampoo bottles and hand wash and things like that. So actually you might notice as I'm placing objects, there's like a red box around nearby objects. That is showing that there's a clash of the space. But if you hold down shift, that allows you to freely place objects. So for the most part, that's not something you have to worry about. There is laundry already in the game. So there's a couple different washing machines you can buy, one with coins, which I guess would be for community lots, and then more residential ones. And then you have things like mops, you have vacuums, and both of those are gameplay objects that you can actually use. You have the option to either vacuum or mop your space. So moving on to a few other decor and clutter items. So you have picture frames, as I said, where you can change the color and texture of the frames and change the art inside. You can make your own stuff in Photoshop and import it. I think that's amazing. There's a lot of kitchen cabinets, so you kind of have a good base, and then from there you can go and change up the color and the texture. Then you have a few different options for ovens, sinks, fridges, and a lot of kitchen appliances already. Actually, you have things like coffee machines, toasters, microwaves, and a lot of good kitchen clutter, as I said, so you can make things feel really lived in. There is already a bar that matches the kitchen cabinets, but by default only 2 stools fit in there, and I just felt like they were a little too spaced apart. So I made my own kind of kitchen bar with 3 stools. And now we're just going in with a bit of clutter. I kind of skipped over making the dining room and the dining table, but I've gone with kind of this modern contemporary style for the main living space. We have a big old corner for the living room. Before that though, we were doing some curtains for these big windows. So I kind of struggled with the placement of the curtains, as you can see. So they do click eventually, but it's a little fiddly to find where there you go, to find where you need to place them for them to go blue, and that means that they've aligned with the windows. Okay, moving on to the TV console. There's a few different TV options and coffee tables and things like that. Oh, and also armchairs. There's a lot of fun armchairs. I scatter lots of armchairs throughout the entire house. So the couches are amazing because you have 2-seaters, 3-seaters, and then you have corner L-shaped sofas. So in the end, I went with this yellow L-shaped sofa, which was really pretty in the space. It fit really well. And I already love the colors. There's also individual pillows that you can place that then snap to the couch. So you can kind of create a custom sofa in the end. And again, you can then go in and change the texture of the sofa. So if you want a leather sofa or suede or whatever, you can do all of that. And then finishing off with a carpet. I feel like that's a nice cozy space. And then I add another carpet to the dining room. Then you can just select the group of objects and it relocates all of them, so you don't have to do it all individually. Okay, placing a few other random details. I have a little coffee side table, and then a few lamp options, a couple of big lamps, small lamps, and yeah, then you can go in and change the color of all of them. Moving on to this corner, which I didn't show you at the top of the stairs. I just have this as like a little music vinyl corner. So in the decor objects, I get out a vinyl player and you can actually play music through it like a speaker. And then you can go in and change the wallpaper colors, which is really fun. I preferred building the entire house and then going in with the wallpaper wallpapers at the end. There's a lot of fun wallpaper options already, and then you can go in and change the colors of them all. Okay, and then once you are finished with your build, you can take a couple different pictures, you can get a couple different good angles, and this part's really fun. There's a lot of fun different settings that you can change, like the depth of field, you can change the lighting, you put your ZOI in and have your ZOI pose. And important because then those are the photos that you'll be able to use when you upload it to Canvas. So I want to give you a very quick walkthrough of the house as a ZOI would, doing a little bit of interacting with the space. And then after, I'm going to show you some incredible features specifically related to build mode. So I'll be right back. So let's now talk about the amazing build features. We're gonna start with the create custom furniture feature, which at the moment you can customize chairs, tables, lamps, computers, and beds. So taking the example of a chair, you can change the backrest and then pair it with legs. Same with the table, you can do tabletop and legs. And then once you finish the item and place it into your build, you can then go customize it like you would any other object. So you can change the color, the texture, the textile. So you can create really unique objects and make something bespoke. So the next feature that I want to talk to you about is the 3D printer, which allows you to scan real world objects that you have at your house, in your bedroom, and put them directly into the game, which is so crazy, not something I've ever been able to do before. So in the same category as craft, where you have custom furniture, you also have 3D printer. So if we click on that, we have to upload a photo to convert into a 3D object. And I think the object that I want to test is my YouTube plaque. I feel like that could be really fun to have that in the game. Let's turn off the pink and the orange light and I'll be right back. I have no idea if this is gonna work. Okay, I've taken a few different options, sending them to myself on my computer. Let's see. I've just uploaded the object in inZOI after going onto Photoshop to isolate the object and saving it as a PNG. So I think this takes a good couple of minutes, maybe 5 or 10 minutes. So we're gonna leave it, allow it to do its magic, and then we'll be right back. It's done it! That is so crazy! First things first, it's looking a little weird. Look at this angle. Not 100% accurate, but I want to see what it looks like in the game. Oh my god, it's huge. It's huge. Hang on. I need to resize. We are actually getting somewhere. So it's taken a lot of fiddling. If you press this control gizmo, you have many more options to rotate this object, kind of scale and rotate. That is not bad at all. That is really, really impressive. I feel like there's a lot of potential there and practice, I imagine, to take the perfect picture of the object. So this was just the first picture that I uploaded. For the first object that I've scanned into my game, I am blown away. So that is it for today's video on the build mode of ZOI. I hope you all have absolutely loved build mode as much as I did. If you have any questions specifically related to build mode, let me know down below. I will do my best to try to answer them. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!